Your show.
No rules! That's what I'm talking about.
Dogs on the Run begins now.
Oh boy, hi everybody, welcome to Dogs on the Run. Andre is currently at University Hospital. He's checking out Johnny Manziel's hamstring MRI to make sure that he's okay. So he is on assignment for the first couple minutes of the show. He will be here in just a couple seconds. But welcome to Dogs on the Run. If it's the first time we've seen the show, welcome. We're glad to have you on board. For everybody else that's been hanging with us throughout the season, for now in our second season, as we start to wind things down next week, thanks for being with us. Remind you the easiest thing to do with the show is interact. That's what we love to do. You can do it on Skype at Dogs on the Run. We'll be talking to our man Tubby Dog here in a few seconds. Tim Couch is going to join us in just a few moments too, and we're going to do our Grade the Team segment. You can call us as well. Here's Andre, just walked in the door. 216-431-3820. 216-431-3820. That is the number to call in. I do have one phone line open right now. If you do want to call in, a couple people hanging out on hold and a couple people hanging out on Twitter as well. Andre, you can put your mic on.
Andre, how many autographs did you have to sign out there, man? It was a long line.
We told people you were signing autographs outside. Then I told people you were at UH.
I was watching film.
Trying to find the MRI. You do look like you're in game wear. I feel kind of.
So you now know what Johnny Manziel needs to fix?
Short. I don't know why.
You're fine.
What are you saying?
Andre now knows what Johnny Manziel needs to fix after watching all that game film?
Yeah, exactly. He needs to be about 4 inches taller, I think.
That's easy. We can put him on the stretcher this week. He'll be good to go. All right, Andre, since you're here and you walked in the door and you're ready to roll, just your initial thoughts on yesterday's game.
I thought yesterday's game was a microcosm of the problems the team has. We could obviously talk about the quarterback a lot, but the defense, I mean, they're probably, when we look at the stats this morning, they're going to be the last in the NFL against the run. And I don't know where that came from. Maybe I haven't been paying attention. I know it's back-to-back 200-yard
Because we've
rushing.
spent the last 5-6 weeks talking about the quarterback.
And you're probably right. And it's sad that that's the case, to be completely honest, because I'm admitting, when I saw the stats and I go, man, they're 31st, 32nd against the run. Now, I know they've had a ton of injuries, but you can't do that, especially in this division. When you look at Pittsburgh with Bell, you look at Hill in Cincinnati, you look at Baltimore, who will play this week. I don't know what happened to them yesterday. If you don't stop the run against those three teams, you're going to have issues going forward. Now, didn't we all say, I thought in the beginning of the year, the one plus on this team was defensively, or there was a defensive line and offensive line. And in week 17, that's not still the case. Is that because of injuries? I don't know.
I don't know. You're on your fourth center. I mean, what do you expect? I got problems with that. You have tons of injuries on defense. Everybody that you expected to be there isn't there right now.
I know.
You look at Mingo yesterday. You finally see him in some plays. There have been times all season where I've been like, where is this guy?
I'll give you that. He has made plays where, he still is. And that's, can we talk about what Bernie Kosar talked about last week?
Sure, we can talk about anything you want.
One of the things.
There's no rules.
There's no rules. That's right. Well, that was one of the things Bernie, and I'm not standing up for Bernie. No matter how you feel about it, Bernie's his own man. He says what he wants. But that was one of the things Bernie was trying to touch on last week, but I think he emotionally got so involved with the quarterback stuff that he didn't get to. The Browns, where they're at, they can't miss on first-round picks. Not saying that they've missed on Mingo, but Mingo's been relatively quiet until like the last 3-4 weeks. The last 3-4 weeks, he's been a player.
I don't know. It's Scott Solomon though.
Yeah. Where'd they draft him?
I don't know, but he looked good.
He did look good. Did you ever find out what you tried to find out about him last night?
No, I didn't find out that information. Come on now, that's all underground.
All right, I was just checking.
We can't do that.
I think when you look at it, just all the first-round picks. I mean, Justin Gilbert, we can get into it later on. Justin Gilbert, is he a player? Right now, is he a starter? And I'm not here to beat up on Ray. It's not about beating up on Ray, but if he's not a player, and
who's that on? We talked about it on Sports Sunday last night.
Like if he's
is that on Mike?
Well, Mike wanted him, and we all applauded Mike when they got him. Yesterday was very indicative. I mean, Desir played more than he did, right?
Yes.
And so did.
But he played good the week before.
He did play good the week before.
And to be honest with you, he probably played better in practice, and that's why Mike played him.
He probably
He's
did.
been consistent on that.
Well, a guy like Kewan Williams. I know they play different positions.
Right.
But it's telling that your first-round picks aren't playing that much.
All right, 216-431-3820. Dogs on the Run, just like Donnie in Painesville. We're going to get to Tim Couch in a second. Donnie, what's up, man?
What's up, guys?
All right,
Good
what did you think
morning.
of yesterday's
Merry Christmas.
game? Merry Christmas to you, too. What did you think of the game?
I thought it was absolute crap until Manziel got hurt and Solomon started playing. I mean, that's to me what inspired the team to put some points on the board, to do well. I mean, what does that say about Johnny Football? I really think that Johnny Football is not the guy. I think we're all fooled by him. I really think that any trade value he did have, say we could have traded him to Dallas or something, that went out the window, in my opinion. So they might want to see about trying to get Hoyer to stay around and draft somebody and bring him up the right way. I think we all bailed on Hoyer a little too fast, and I think Mike Pettin learned the lesson. Stick with your gut feeling. Don't give in to the fans. Don't give in to your offensive coordinator. Because if he would have did that, there's no way we would have went scoreless last week. I really don't think that.
Hey, I don't know that Kyle Shanahan was all 100% going to Johnny football either.
Well, Donnie says something that's interesting. And Donnie, I watched you during the draft. You came out to our draft party and you were with us. You wanted Johnny to be here. It's not. He's only played 6 quarters.
Buyer's remorse. Do you have buyer's remorse?
Well, for as high as you drafted him,
yeah.
I hate to say it, doesn't Bubby Brister, and I hate saying this, doesn't Bubby Brister sound right now? 6th round pick, maybe?
Yeah.
Merrill Hodge.
Yeah. I mean, I just know that you were high on him, Donnie. I know your thing on Instagram, or not Instagram, on Twitter, you had the Johnny Manziel figure and everything else. It's just surprising that you said it's maybe time to get rid of him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I mean, he's got no fundamentals. You've been saying it for 2 weeks. I mean, since last week, he's got no confidence. I mean, that hit he got when he got injured. Now they're saying it happened two series before. Come on. I mean, he shouldn't even been in the game. He should have said something. He just doesn't have it. The way he prepared from the time he got drafted, is he really going to change?
Yeah, it's the whole. He said it last night. Donnie, thank you for the phone call.
Take care, buddy. Good
have a great Merry Christmas to you too.
You too, buddy.
All right. Yeah, he said, I prepared really hard for the last 2 weeks. Well, what were you doing before that?
That's scary. No, I didn't. People were telling me because we were doing our show. But I guess last night on NFL Network, some of the players were. Deion Sanders kind of was like, he goes, I've never seen a guy hurt his hamstring getting hit like that. And
he also said it was 2 plays before.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that play.
Okay, and I hate questioning guys on injuries.
I heard it this morning, too. Hey, Kevin Kiley made a great point. It was very convenient when it happened.
Yes, and that's kind of what NFL Network was saying. They're going, wait a minute. If your hamstring was hurt a couple plays before that, how did you run to the sideline? Because if you've ever had a hamstring, you're not running the way he ran to the sideline. I'm not questioning him. I don't want text messages and emails all day long. It was interesting when the hamstring.
Oh, that's going to come up today. I mean, I've never had a hamstring thing because I'm kosher, so it doesn't bother me at all. Let's go to Tim Couch. Hi, Tim. How are you?
Hey, I think Tim Couch should start next week because the powers that be right now are shining down on him. Look at his shot.
Oh, you do? You've got like some lights from heaven coming down on you.
You got to start.
That's right.
That's the football gods telling us that he should start next
The
Sunday.
football gods want you back. I do want to thank you for wearing the Kent State varsity K hat for Andre and I.
Baseball hats, yes.
Didn't realize that you turned your loyalty away from Kentucky to Kent State. So thank you so much.
How you guys doing this morning?
Good, man. How you
We're
doing?
good. This is crazy. Good. Tim, I mean, it's the same story every year, over and over and over again. Just your thoughts on yesterday and your thoughts on Johnny Manziel for the future.
It was another tough start for him yesterday. I think right now, when I watch Johnny, I see a quarterback that's really lost with his fundamentals, and I think that's what's getting him in so much trouble. His footwork is terrible. He never gets his feet set, and I think that's why he can't get really any velocity on his throws. His footwork is taking his eyes to the wrong places. He's just not very fundamentally sound right now, and I think that's probably the biggest reason for his struggles early on. And he's obviously not, making the plays that he normally made. Coming out of college, the scramble plays that he made, just not there for him right now. He's finding out he's not the fastest guy on the field anymore, and he can't do that. So he's got a long way to go. I think that's pretty obvious. He's got a long way to go. Yesterday I thought he was, struggling again. I didn't see any improvement from the first week. Of what he's doing. He had one nice throw across the middle, but other than that, it was going to be a struggle again, I believe. So it was another tough start for him, and we'll see where he goes from here. But he's certainly a guy that's going to have to get into the off season and work on those fundamentals and try to improve and make himself a better player.
Help us, Tim. What's the first step that you go out and because and Andy and I talked about this last night. Johnny's going to be Johnny. Mm-hmm. We're going to see him in the next couple of weeks in Texas. Probably Vegas. We know who he is. You can't take who he is away from him. But at some point in time, he's going to have to sit down, and you just talked about fundamentals. He's going to have to work on them. What's the first thing you work with him Do you send him to a quarterback guru? Because at some points in times, for him to be himself, he has to use his feet. But right now, as you said, fundamentally, he can't use them in the pocket.
Right, and I go back to when he was in college. The year after he won the Heisman Trophy at A&M, that offseason, he really worked really hard, dedicated himself to becoming a better player within the pocket, and he worked with George Whitfield, and it seemed like his mechanics were improved. Even though his team wasn't as good, his second year there after the year after the Heisman, he was improved as a passer. I thought he was much more fundamentally sound. And I thought he had, kind of turned the corner on those things, and he would be a more improved player from the pocket. But, he's regressed in that area, in my opinion, this year. And I think, when the pressure's on and you don't feel comfortable with what you're doing mentally, you kind of revert back real quick to your instincts. And his instincts are to, kind of scramble around and play kind of backyard ball and not rely on those fundamentals because they're not rock solid yet. And, that's what you have to have. They have to become second nature to you. You have to drill them so much and have to rely on them when the pressure's on, because like I said, when that pressure turns up on you on Sunday, how solid you are in your fundamentals and footwork, those kind of things are that's kind of what's going to show.
Tim, how big do you think the playbook was for the Browns yesterday with Johnny Manziel? It felt kind of small.
Yeah, I don't think they're giving him a whole lot right now. I really don't, and I don't think they feel like they can put too much on him. I think he's a guy who's really thinking a lot as he, you can almost see him thinking as he drops back to pass, as opposed to, when Brian's in, you can see Brian, scanning the field, going through what the defense is giving him. Johnny's really in the thinking stages right now, and I think that's kind of what's causing him to deliver the football not on time. He's kind of, behind guys. He's not, anticipating throws. And those are things you can only do when you feel really comfortable with not only what you're doing, but what the defense is doing as well. And, so I don't feel like they can give Johnny a whole lot right now. I think they're just kind of, making it simple for him. A lot of, movement passes where they cut the field in half. They're not giving him a lot of full field reads. So he can, it's just a 1-2 type thing. And if it's not there, just try to tuck it and make something happen. And, I think that's kind of what we're seeing right now.
Tim, I was afraid after the first pass play of the game yesterday, he made one read and he started running. Yep. And instantly I cringed because I go, he's not comfortable because he didn't go through all of his reads. You made a comment earlier in the week, and I know I'm not going to say it perfectly, but you said when you were 21, 22, you were trying to live up to being the first pick in the draft. You were living up to everything you had done, and every throw was so, scrutinized that you really, kind of bit at it. Do you worry that that's where he is? Because that's the first thing I thought of your comments after that first play, because I go, they made it an easy read, Johnny, and he made that one read, and it was scatter, run.
Right. Yeah, I think he is kind of doing that. And, when you're going through that, you don't really feel it at the time. But Johnny's a high-profile guy, and, he's one of the most scrutinized guys. Every throw that he makes, every time he steps on the field, it's headline news everywhere across the country. And, that's very, very difficult to play in because, it's a guy who's a young guy coming out of college early. Everyone knew it was going to be a big transition going to the NFL, changing his style of play, and you're kind of having to go through all that, and try to live up to all this hype that he's, a lot of it that he's created, by himself. He put a lot of it on himself with his, his off-season antics and all that kind of stuff, off the field stuff. But it's very tough. For me, I felt like I had to live up to, that number one overall pick, and every time you make a throw, you almost feel like, okay, you want to show everybody, okay, that's why he was this. That's why he was that. That's why everyone's talking about him. And that can get you in a whole lot of trouble. And you don't even realize you're doing it because the pressure is just something that kind of comes on you with, what you carry, that moniker you carry of being a first round pick and all that kind of stuff. So it's something you really have to guard against. And I think Johnny probably doesn't even realize he's doing it, but you can definitely see a guy who's out there pressing, trying to force plays, trying to force the issue, and try to show everyone, he's worthy of all the hype that he gets.
All right, Eric, what do you got?
You guys were talking about the first play, Andre, and the one thing that I noticed, and Andy, we were talking about this, was the touchdown from Hoyer to Cameron on that 80-yard touchdown, the exact same play as the first play of the game with Manziel. Manziel, though, didn't wait, got rid of the ball too early, and if he would have waited, it looked like Jim Dre would have broken open for a big
Jordan
game.
Cameron. They were both open.
And Cameron, yeah.
Yeah, and the reason that really opened it, you're right, it really opened up is because the quarterback used his eyes to open it up. He was looking right, and right when Cameron made that cut, he comes to him and throws the ball.
But that was for Hoyer. There was time in the pocket on Manziel's very first play of the game.
Yes.
The incomplete pass to Gordon. Tim, how much of that, though, is rookie guy coming out second week?
Pumped
I'm
up.
sure you practiced this play 100 times. This is what we're going to do on the first play of the game. This is what we want to do. This is what we want to do. When, if you would have looked at the second or even third wide receiver on that first play of the game, we may have seen the same result as what Brian Hoyer saw. Yeah. But as much as we want to sit here and pick it apart, I still think you got to remember rookie quarterback, first play of the game.
Yeah, a lot of times, rookie quarterbacks, they're going to come out and predetermine a little bit where they're going to go with the football. And, like you said, during the week of practice, it's kind of, you run it against certain looks during the week that you're anticipating that they're going to be in. And so you just kind of come out early in the game and, say, okay, this is where this football is supposed to go, and you get rid of it too quickly when, in reality, a veteran quarterback, he's going to adjust on the move. You're going to see Brian do those type of things because he can adjust and say, okay, this is not the same look that we practiced this play against during the week of practice. And, I can get to my second, my third read, even my check down if I have to. And, right now, Johnny's just not able to process it quickly enough to get to those second and third reads and deliver it on time.
All right, Tim, we're going to come back in a half hour. I want you to ponder this, though, before we come back. People want to give rookies a little bit of slack. I always do. I think you do, too. I think we all want to.
Sure.
Because
coaches, players, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just like any job. The question, though, goes back to the coaches. How much rookie slack is there going to be for Mike Pettin? How much rookie slack is there going to be for Ray Farmer? Ponder that. We'll talk about that in a half hour. Thanks, Tim.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, let's go back.